Hello, hello everyone. Welcome in. Welcome. Janica and I think, is it Daisha? I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but welcome. Kelly, Brianna, Lisa. Oh my gosh, it's moving too fast. I can't read all the rest, you guys. Thank you all for joining us today. Welcome in. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday today. I think it's Wednesday. You guys know I can never keep track of what day it actually is anymore. There's an echo. Anybody else hearing an echo? You guys, if it's just the one person hearing the echo, you may need to restart your app, or even do an update. Sometimes that happens to anybody else hearing the echo? No echo. Okay, so whoever that was in the chat saying that they heard an echo, maybe just restart your app, close down and restart your app, and hopefully you can jump back in. All right, looks like everybody else is doing good. Today we're going to be doing some fun nails. We're going to be doing some kind of basic techniques, and then I'm going to show you one of our items that is on a super good blowout deal today, you guys. I want you guys to check out these new not new products, but check out the products that we're going to be using on the blowout deal. And then this is your spoiler alert for today. I am going to be showing some of the products from one of the mystery boxes, but I also am going to be doing a design using our shading pens. And like I said, that these are on a super great blowout deal. So I'm going to show you guys how to use those. We're going to be working with acrylic today. And I'm just getting my nails ready to go here, getting these clipped down so I can do our sculpted nails on them. Today we're also going to be using our traditional acrylic system. We're going to be using let me grab it right here real quick. We're going to be using the Cover Pink from our traditional acrylic system. And let's go ahead and get started. I think I've got everything ready to go that I need to get ready. So we'll start just like we always do with any application. We are going to start by pushing back those cuticles, get those cleaned up really well. I'm just using our rose gold magic wand. It's got that cuticle pusher on the one side. It's also got, let me come in a little closer for you. Also has that little kind of scraper tool so you can get right up close around that cuticle area, get that nice and cleaned up. And then when you're sculpting your extensions, you can use that other end, open that up, and you can use that to kind of pinch in your C-curves a little bit. So that's what that end is for. There's a lot of other uses for this. I've actually used it for all kinds of different things, including cleaning out my vacuum cleaner. I don't recommend that, but this is a great tool. It's the magic wand. It's a really great multi-use tool. So we use that for pushing back the cuticles. I'm going to grab my e-file here and got in here my mandrel and sanding band. Here's another time that I use my magic wand. I'm going to just push that down onto my mandrel. I'm going to slide off that old sanding band. We'll change that out. Let me grab a new one here. And I always tell you guys, make sure that you are changing out your sanding bands for every client. Even if you're working on your trainer hand and practicing and things like that, trade it out for, every service. So kind of get into that habit of trading it out and changing it out to a clean, fresh one. The sanding band itself is not sanitizable and disinfectable, but that mandrel underneath that holds it, that is sanitizable and disinfectable. So make sure that you do sanitize and disinfect. You guys, it's sounding like a lot of you in the chat have started getting all of your Black Friday goodies in the mail, in shipping. So I am super excited for you guys to start working with all of those products and trying them out. Make sure if you do post pictures and things when you're using and working with our products, make sure that you tag Young Nails, tag myself, Karen for Nails. Make sure to tag us. We want to see what you're doing, what you're working on. Okay, so we've got our cuticle area pushed back. We're going to clean up our surface area and just coming right up around that cuticle, just kind of cleaning off that extra oil. So really what we're doing with this bit is just kind of going through that surface, breaking up any oils that may be on that surface of the nail, and then just giving a light texture. Now, I'm not really trying to grind away any of this surface. I don't want to cause any damage, so I want to make sure that as I'm working, that my bit does stay more flat on the nail. And you kind of see how I work with my bit a little bit more at a slight angle here, kind of flat towards the center and a slight downward angle. That way my bit is going to connect with that nail all the way through. Okay, so kind of the top part of my bit is connecting up at that cuticle area, the middle part of my bit through the center of the nail, and then kind of the base of that bit down through that free edge. So it's kind of just contouring all the way through. And looks like, you guys, there's somebody from Poland in our chat today, you guys. I have Polish ancestry, so I'm very excited about that. But you guys, I love to see all of those of you that are joining us here, wherever you're from. I love to be able to get you guys this great education so that you can learn all of these fun techniques. So welcome to wherever you're coming in from today. I'm just going to use my manicure brush now. And just going to go through, kind of dust off any of that excess dust that's on the nail, get that as clean as I possibly can. And again, I'm brushing down, kind of back and forth like this. I'm not going across the nail, okay? Brushing across is always going to just kind of push that dust down into your sidewalls, whereas if you are brushing in this direction, it's going to extract and pull out all of that dust from all of those sidewalls, so all the way down those sides and those edges, getting that nail nice and clean. Katie Cat, will you all get the nail stamping kit back in stock? You guys, that kit unfortunately is sold out. And we're trying to warn everybody with the mystery boxes and all of these bundle deals, you guys, things on our website are probably not going to be restocked by the end of the Black Friday sale. So if you are seeing something that you like on the Black Friday sale, I would highly recommend purchasing it now because it may not still be in stock. So unfortunately, those stamping plates and that kit are out of stock. I'm sorry. All right, you guys, so I grabbed my swipe. That's what I used, this little blue liquid here. Brush or pump a little bit of that onto my manicure brush, and I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna really scrub the nail using that swipe. Swipe is what's gonna clean off this nail. It's gonna help to pull off any extra oils that are on there, any little tiny particles of dust that may still be on there. And then it's also gonna get a nice clean, bacteria-free surface. So it's going to kill any germs and bacteria that may be left on that surface. Now you guys, as I'm kind of sitting here chatting with you, you're noticing that that nail goes from kind of that wet look to more of that chalky dry look. This is exactly what we want to see at this point. If we still have any of that swipe left on the nail, our next product that we use, our protein bond, is going to kind of null and void it. So having this nail nice and clean and dry is extremely important before we put our protein bond on. So our protein bond is our bonder, and it works kind of like a double-sided tape. I always use that analogy because it really makes sense. It's going to go onto the nail, it's going to stick down to that natural nail, but then it's going to leave a sticky surface for the product to grab onto. And this is exactly what we want. We want kind of that double-sided tape effect where it's going to bond to that natural nail, but then it's going to bond to the product that you put on. So again, now you can kind of see, you still see the texture to the nail, but now you see more of a sticky surface. And we're going to do 2 coats of our protein bond. This is just going to give us that really good adhesion, making sure that we have full coverage all the way through that whole nail plate. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but I always start from the center of the nail and I work out to the sides and then back up towards the cuticle area. That way I'm not going to flood any of my protein bond up into the cuticle or get that onto the skin. Okay, this is a non-acid bonder. It's not a primer, but it doesn't have any of the methacrylic acid that a traditional primer was. But even still, it still is a chemical, and you want to make sure that you're avoiding getting any of that on the skin. Always keep your nails safe, keep your clients safe, and keep any product away from the skin. Next thing we're going to do is grab our forms. We're going to be sculpting a nail today. So I'm going to take one of this is just our traditional forms. We'll take that little tab right out of the center there, turn my form over, and I'm going to put that tab right on the back of my form. That way it's going to give my form a little bit more kind of a firm feeling rather than kind of a loose, flimsy feeling. I'm going to just kind of roll that over here. And I'm just going to pinch those 2 little tabs together. So these 2 little silver areas right there, and then on the other side, we're going to pinch those tabs together nice and evenly. I'm going to pinch the end shut. I think we're going to do, maybe we'll do maybe a longer almond, not quite a stiletto, but maybe an almond. So I'm just going to pinch that form just a little bit tighter right at that free edge, shorten it up a little bit. If we were going to go even shorter, I could pinch that form just a little bit more on the end. But we're going to do maybe a longer almond today. I'm going to open up the top perforation. This little perforated edge right there is going to help. So it's going to open it up a little bit and make it a little bit easier to get that form onto the finger. Now I'm going to hold my form on both sides here. I'm going to start at kind of a downward angle, bring that form up underneath the nail, and just kind of catch that free edge. Once I've caught that free edge, I can just lift up on the end, so then the form is going to come straight out from that natural nail. Okay. I always like to show you guys this from the side so that you can really see what is happening. So again, I start at kind of a downward angle with my form, and then I lift up on the end of that form until that form comes out and it's caught right underneath that free edge and it's coming nice and straight out from that natural nail. If we leave that form at a slight angle downward, our nails are going to be kind of angled and you're not going to be able to get the correct structure to this nail and you're not going to be able to get the proper lower arch. So just lift up on that till that form is coming nice and straight out from the free edge, and then you can secure those tabs down on the side. So if we take a look at this from the front view, we want to make sure that our form is nice and straight in line with the finger. So I'm going to take my orange wood stick here, and I like to make sure that that form is coming straight out in line with the finger, not necessarily the nail, because some nails are lopsided. You guys, actually my pointers here, they are actually crooked. A couple of my nails are actually crooked. So if I were to line up my form with my nail itself, that form is going to be crooked. So that's why we always want to make sure that we're lining that form up with that finger rather than just the nail. And if you take a look at our form, we have a bold line right down the center of the form. So that bold line is kind of our center point, and that's what's going to be coming straight out from the nail. Okay. All right, now let's get our acrylic, and I'm also going to grab a couple of little table towels here. Let me come back out so you guys can see. So the table towels, what I'm using here is basically the same exact table towels that I've got on my station here. I just cut them into smaller pieces so that it's easier for me to wipe my brush on them and then just kind of throw them away as I work. And then we'll grab our Dappen dish. And you guys, the Dappen dish with the cork on it, they've got a little bit of weight to them, so they're really easy to work with. You're not going to feel like you're going to knock them over. And having that cork on the top there is really going to help to keep any of that odor of your acrylic kind of condensed. So always keep your liquids covered up when you're not using them. And again, they're not going to evaporate into the air. Okay. So I do have a little bit of old monomer here. I'm just going to kind of rinse my brush a little bit, make sure my brush is nice and clean. And then I'm going to take that table towel, kind of clean off the top of my Dappen dish, make sure I don't have any residue. Tuck that down in there. You guys, here's one more use for that magic wand. You can pop that down in there, soak up any of that extra monomer, use that little tweezer end, grab onto that, and then you can take that out and you've got a nice clean Dappen dish. Again, by using the magic wand, we're not going to be touching that product with our skin. So just another quick little trick there. All right. Again, we're going to be using our traditional liquid and powder, so the pink label with the pink label powder. Just pour a little bit of the monomer. Let's see, somebody's asking in the chat, how long can the monomer last in the Dappen dish as long as it's closed? You guys, that's a great, great question. I always recommend getting fresh monomer for every application that you're doing. That way you're going to have really good, clean acrylic as you're applying. Sometimes I feel like if you try to just keep adding more liquid to what's already in there, so say I had left that, that liquid in there and just tried to add more, it can start to feel kind of thick and gummy. So you always want to make sure you're using fresh monomer. Now, do I usually end up at the end of my service, I cap that up and I set my Dappen dish kind of off to the side? Yes, but then I will always change that out because a lot of times as I'm working, I think I'm finished with the nail, so I set that off to the side, but there may be something that I need to touch up, so then I may need to grab that liquid again. Okay, so go ahead and do that, but anytime you're going on to a fresh set, always get fresh monomer. You're going to have better results if you do that. All right, I think we are ready to go. So we've got our monomer. Again, we have our Cover Pink acrylic. You guys, this is probably one of my favorite acrylics to work with. It's a beautiful color. It's a very neutral color, and it's very easy to work with. So just a couple of things that I want to show you guys before I actually get on to that nail. Let me grab a form here real quick. So when I'm working with acrylic, there's 3 different consistencies that I want to work with. And those 3 different consistencies are going to be for different areas of the nail. When I'm placing my pearl for my free edge, I want to work in clay form. When I'm working with my product at my cuticle area through the body of the nail, I'm going to use more of a wet pearl. And then when I do kind of a blender bead, I'm going to use more of a kind of a medium. So kind of a cross between that clay-like and the wet form. So let me show you what I mean by each of those. When we're working on the free edge and we want to create that clay form, let me come back out just a little. I'm going to pick up my pearl, and to pick up my pearl, I'm just going to kind of press my brush down into my Dappen dish. You guys, what that does, let me just show you here real quick. When I press my brush down into my Dappen dish, I'm going to get a little closer. So again, when I press my brush down into the Dappen dish, it'll kind of separate my bristles in my brush just a little bit. What that's going to do is it's actually going to allow my brush to absorb more liquid. If you just kind of dip down into your Dappen dish, that brush really doesn't absorb a lot of liquid. But by pressing it down, it separates those bristles, opens it up so that it'll collect a lot more of that monomer in between those bristles. The other thing that it's going to do when you press your brush down in there is it's actually going to release any air bubbles that are in between there, so those little air bubbles don't end up in your pearl of acrylic. Okay, so we're going to go into our liquid. So again, kind of press down into the liquid. I'm going to tap the back side of my brush. Now you guys, this is something that I really kind of want you to see. So what I mean by tap the brush is I actually lift up my brush and just tap the back side. So kind of right in the center area of the brush. So right about there, I just tap. I don't lift my brush straight up. I don't scrape out all of the liquid. I just press down in, tap the back side, and that's going to release a little bit of liquid. So you guys, I'm going to come in really close so you can see this. So again, tap the back side. Now I want you guys to watch. When I tap the back of my brush, you're going to see a little bit of liquid drip off the end, okay? The more times or the more firm you press, the more liquid is going to come out of your brush, okay? So the more liquid you release from your brush, the smaller of a pearl you're going to be able to pick up. So kind of keep that in mind. So if you want a large pearl, just give it a light tap, release just a little bit of the liquid. If you want a smaller pearl, maybe tap once, tap twice, maybe even a third time to release that extra liquid. Okay, so the more you tap that brush, the more it's going to release liquid. Okay, now when we are picking up our pearl, again, like I was saying, for the free edge application, we want more of a clay-like consistency, but we still need our brush to pick up enough product. So we'll come in a little bit closer. So again, I'm still going to just tap the back of my brush. I'm going to come into my powder. I'm going to kind of press, bounce, bounce, bounce. Now, the reason that I actually bounce my brush into that powder is because every time you press down, it's going to release liquid and it's going to absorb powder. So again, press down, it releases liquid, absorbs powder. Press down, release liquid, absorb powder. If you were to just take your brush and just kind of set it down into that powder and just hold it there, it's not going to give you that perfect pearl. Do you guys kind of see how chunky and dusty that is? By just setting your brush down in there, it doesn't allow your brush to actually absorb that liquid. So again, what we want to do is more of a kind of a press, bounce, release, liquid, pick up, bounce, release, liquid, pick up. That way you're going to get that really nice pearl, okay? Okay, so back to what I was saying about more of that clay-like form. We still have to leave that liquid in our brush to be able to pick up that pearl. But what we don't want to happen is when we put our pearl onto our form, we set that down. Do you guys see how fast that's running? Do you see how quickly that's moving? We don't want our pearl to run and move like that. So on our form, we want it in more of a clay-like consistency. So we're going to press out that liquid. We're going to pick up our pearl, bounce, bounce. Now, instead of going straight to the form, I'm going to set my brush down onto my table towel. That's going to help to kind of drain out some of that extra liquid. And then when I go and set that onto my form, you guys are going to be able to see it kind of softens just a little bit. It relaxes just a little bit, but it's not running. It's not flowing like this first pearl was, okay? That's what I mean by a clay-like consistency. I can still, I hold that there, I can still press this product. I can move this product around. I can kind of move that wherever I want and sculpt and shape how I want, but it's not out of control. It's not flowing and it's not moving where I don't want it to go, okay? So that's the first kind of technique, or the first way we're picking up our acrylic, okay? So that first way is that clay-like consistency. Now the second way, when we are working back by the cuticle area, when we put our pearl on through here, we're going to set that pearl down. And you guys, I want you to see this from the side view. I'm actually going to be looking at the nail from this view. I'm coming a little closer. It looks like it's a little bit blurred. I'm not sure why that's a little blurry there, but okay, I think that's a little better. But I'm going to be working at this angle. So I'm actually going to use kind of the tip of my brush, and I'll be pressing out that cuticle area. But by having the nail angled downward, my product is actually going to flow down the length of the nail, rather than if I had my nail this direction and pressing here, that product is going to flow down the sides. It's going to flow with gravity, okay? So I want to make sure that I'm angling that finger down, pressing out the cuticle, and letting that product flow down to the free edge, okay? Let's go ahead and get into this application, because I don't want to confuse you too much and give you too many things to try to understand without actually seeing them. So again, let's come back to our first pearl. Grab that in there. There we go. Okay, so we're going to, again, go into our Dappen dish, press out that liquid. Oh, you guys can't see this. Let's come here. There we go. Okay. So again, press into our liquid, press out the back side, press my brush down into that powder, bounce, bounce, drain out that extra liquid onto my table towel, and then we'll set that right down in front of that nail. So give it a good press down. I'm going to wipe my brush out. Now I'm going to use more of kind of the belly of the brush. So the fat part of the brush, I'm going to press my product so it's even from side to side. Yes, it's running just a little bit. That's okay. I'm going to use the edge of my brush to scoot that back up. And then I'm going to use more of the belly of the brush again to press that out. Now you guys, if you feel like your product is sticking to the brush, wipe out your brush. You see I kind of cleaned out that brush a little bit. Go ahead and wipe it out, but don't take too long to wipe, okay? Just make sure that you're giving it a quick wipe and then come back to the nail. We're going to press all the way across. Again, use the edge of my brush to tuck up into those corners. Slide that product straight in and then come back across to even everything out. Okay, again, using the edge of my brush, tuck in those sides. Now I can start to press a little bit more and bring that a little bit more down to kind of a point. Maybe not quite a complete point, but a little bit more kind of that oval, almondy kind of shape. So just kind of tucking in on that free edge a little bit. And then I can just kind of blend through, make sure everything's nice and smooth and even. And again, if I need to, clean up that free edge. Now you guys, don't worry too much about your free edge. That's probably the easiest thing to file into shape. And so if you make sure that you've got your sides correct, you've got the rest of your structure correct, that free edge can be fixed easily, okay? So don't worry too much. All right. Now, we were talking about using more of a wet pearl right at our cuticle area. Now, here's the thing though. We want a wet pearl, but we don't want it out of control. So with this pearl, I'm going to still tap the back side of my brush. And you guys, actually, I'm going to come in really close so that you can see this. So when I pick up this pearl, all right, I just got to make sure that I'm going to be in camera here. So again, we're going to pick up our pearl, press, press. And I want you guys to see the surface of this pearl. Do you see how that looks more like an orange peel? If I wait for just 3 to 4 seconds, now do you see how that's really kind of coming to more of kind of that smooth actual pearl kind of a look? That's exactly what we want to wait for. Now at this point we don't want to wait too much longer, so I'm going to start another pearl. And once it gets to more of that smooth kind of a look rather than that textured orange peel look, that's the point where you're going to be able to put that onto the nail. Okay, so again, we'll do the same thing. We're going to press, bounce, bounce. I'm going to pick up that nail count 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like it's getting to that pearl stage. I'm going to set that down at my cuticle area. I've got my finger angled down. I'm just going to gently press around the cuticle area and just kind of pivot my brush to the side, press that cuticle area, pivot my brush to the side, and it's just kind of flowing just a little bit. I'm going to wipe out my brush. I'm going to pivot my brush on the side, and I'm going to start to just gently blend that. Come back to the center, blend, blend, pivot my brush on the side, and blend. You guys, when I'm blending, I'm just blending from the edge. Okay, let me turn from the side here so you can see. I'm not trying to pull product all the way from that cuticle forward. I'm just coming here, okay? And you guys, notice the angle of my brush. When I was working at my cuticle area, I was at about a 45-degree angle to that nail. Do you see how nice and thin and tapered that got that cuticle area? It left my product a little bit thicker. Just because of that angle of my brush and putting pressure where I need it right at that cuticle, it starts to build in that arch. Now, when we're working down here, I don't have my brush at this angle. If I did, and I started to brush forward, it would actually put a divot or kind of an indent right here where the tip of my brush is. Here, I'd actually drop the angle of my brush so that it's more parallel to the nail, and that's how I'm going to be angling my brush to blend that forward. Now, when I say I pivot my brush at the sides, so when you're brushing forward and kind of brushing from the center, your brush is in this direction. You guys notice on the brush, it's got a little bit of a crimp in the ferrule, in the silver part of the brush. So you're always going to be keeping that flat as you're brushing out there. When we work on the sides, we want to pivot so that that brush kind of comes, that little crimp is now turned on its side, and that's how we're going to get that really nice, smooth sidewalls, okay? So again, in the center, you're using kind of that fat belly part of the brush. On the sides, you're going to pivot and still using kind of that belly, but you're pivoting that brush to get that nail nice and contoured, okay? So flat, pivot, okay? All right, so we did our free edge in that clay-like form. We did our cuticle area and the body of the nail in more of that wet form. Now, if we take a look from the side, we've got a low spot here. We've got to fill in the rest of this extension. We can't just leave that like that. There's no structure there. So we need to fill that in. But to fill that in, I'm going to pick up a pearl that is about halfway between that clay-like consistency from the free edge and that wet consistency that we used at the cuticle area. So to do that, I'm going to pick up my pearl, just like it did before, and now I'm just going to touch it down to the towel for maybe a second. So I'm just going to go 1, maybe 2, okay? That's all that's going to happen. And again, you guys, let me come in a little bit closer so you can really see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to grab a clean towel here. So I'm going to pick up my pearl, and you guys, as I press this down onto the towel, I want you guys to look at the brush. At this point, do you see how wet that brush looks? When I set that down onto the towel, it's going to pull out all of that liquid and drain out that extra, okay? So that's exactly what we want to do. That pearl is going to look a little bit more matte, all right? That's exactly what we're going for. Okay, so let me do that one more time just so you can get one more quick look. And again, this is going to be just maybe 1, 2, just enough to kind of drain out a little bit of that liquid. I'm not trying to drain it out completely because on this application, I do want my product to flow just a little bit, but not out of control. Let me come out just a little bit more here. All right, we'll pick up our pearl. Again, we'll drain out just a little bit of that. I'm going to turn my brush around. I'm going to set that pearl right into that low spot, press it down, blend backwards, pivot my brush, blend backwards, pivot my brush, and blend backwards. Now, I'm going to wipe out my brush. Now I can use more of the belly of the brush to kind of press the rest of that product down into that low spot. Again, pivoting on those sides, pressing that product down, and then I can start to blend that product down to the end of the nail. Okay, just kind of pressing, guiding that product into place, and blending all the way through. Now, if you feel like you need to thin out your free edge, turn your brush and blend backwards. And again, you guys, take a look at the angle that I'm working. I have my brush at a slightly higher angle, so it's pulling that product back up into that arch. If I needed to pull product down to the free edge, I could turn my brush around and blend forward towards myself, okay? So at this point, it looks like we've got our proper structure in here. I know you guys think it looks kind of chunky, lumpy, bumpy. That's okay. But as long as we have our cuticle area nice and thin and tapered, we've got a little bit more thickness right up here in our arch, right in that apex area, and then nice and thin and tapered all the way down to our free edge. We're going to go ahead and file a little bit of this, but we still want to keep that proper structure in there. Again, thin at the cuticle, a little higher in the arch, thin at the free edge. Okay. Now we do need to let this set. So in the meantime, whenever I'm letting my product set, this is when I will clean up. Okay, so when I clean up, I always want to make sure that my powders are covered. That way when I file, I'm not going to get any dust or anything into those. I always kind of give my brush a good rinse, make sure that it's cleaned out. And you guys notice that I always just keep my brush sitting in my Dappen dish when I'm not using it on the client. That way, if there is any little bits of acrylic residue in there, it's going to kind of soak that out in the monomer. So always make sure your brush is clean. You're going to wipe it off on both sides. Roll that brush back to a point, and you guys, I'm just kind of rolling it between my hands like this. Roll that back to a point, and your brush is going to be ready to go again, nice and clean. Okay? All right, so we've got that set aside. Again, always keep the cap on your monomer, so just in case you need to use that a little bit later. And I'm going to grab a brand new file here. File that I've been using, you guys, again, files depending on your state board, always check with your state board to make sure whether you can reuse files or not. You guys, even if your state board does say that you can reuse files after sanitizing them, honestly, I always find that it's easiest to get a clean, fresh, brand new file for every client. It's going to be much easier in your filing, and it's going to be a lot less work for you. But anytime you do get a brand new file, it is going to have a slightly sharp edge to it. So if you gently rub your finger right across the top part of that file, you're going to feel a little bit of sharpness. I always have a spare file, and you guys know that I just keep this one labeled as my prep file. All I use this file for is taking off those sharp edges. And I'm going to just run that file flat across the top, so just flat through that surface. I slightly angle it and then run it just right across kind of the corner. So kind of the corner edge. Now you guys be careful that you're not coming all the way down here. You don't want to take off any of the grit from the file right down here, but you just want to make sure that just kind of that edge is softened a little bit. Okay, so I go through that just a couple of times. Same thing on the other side. Catch that little edge, make sure that's nice and smooth, and then I'll run my hand across that one last time just to make sure that I don't feel any sharp spots. Flip that file back over to the second side. Do the same thing, flat across the top, catch the edge there, and then catch the edge there. Somebody's asking, do you ever have issues with the bristle of the brush bending from sitting in the monomer? You know, if you leave it sitting in there for too long, like if you're, I don't know, maybe a half an hour or something, then you're probably going to start to kind of feel like the point of the brush is bent a little bit. But for just the amount of time that I'm working with it, I don't find that it has any issues or creases or anything like that. All right, you guys, so I'm just kind of testing my nail to see if it's set yet. And if you tap on it, if you guys have artificial nails on, you can tap on that nail and you'll hear that sharp clicking. If you don't have artificial nails, just use your brush handle and you can tap and you can hear. You can hear right down the end here, it's just feeling or sounding just a little bit soft. Back here you can still kind of feel or hear that really sharp click. So I know it's almost set, except just right down at the end. But I think we're good enough to go here. So we'll take that form off from underneath. Just kind of pinching that form away. Make sure it's completely released. And then I'm going to grab our dust collector. You guys, the dust collectors are part of the new Bling and Glam collection. So you can still get these on the website. These are still on an amazing deal. I'm going to turn mine on, turn my fan up to 10. And then I'm going to go back to our e-file here that we were using before, but I'm going to take out that sanding band that I had in there. And we're going to switch to our X-Cut carbide bit. Okay, so you guys, this is a carbide. This is a coarse bit. This is actually designed to take down bulk and basically shave down product. So this is something you do not want to be using on a natural nail, okay? The sanding band that we were using before, that you can use on a natural nail, but the carbide is way too coarse, and this is going to do damage if you use that just on a natural nail, okay? We're going to turn our speed on our E-file to about 15,000 RPMs. Let me readjust here. And I'm going to start with the perimeter. So what I mean by perimeter is our sidewalls and our free edge. So I'm just going to pull my bit. I'm basically making contact with my bit and pulling down. Making contact, pulling down. On the right side here, I'm going to make contact and push back. Make contact and push back. That's how I'm going to get those nice straight sidewalls, really bringing that almond shape into place, okay? Now, if you need to shorten up or reshape it, you can come down around that free edge. So just kind of pull down, around, and push back. And again, you guys, I'm not using a lot of pressure. I'm just making contact and just kind of pulling through, okay? We can turn that nail on the side. You see all of that product that's kind of hanging down the side here. I want to make sure I file that off so that it's coming out nice and straight and even with that natural nail. So all the way back here at that cuticle, all the way through the free edge should be a nice straight line. And if I hold my orange wood stick up there, that is the line that we're trying to create. So anything that my orange wood stick is covering right now all needs to get filed off. Now there's not really a lot on there that needs to be filed off, but it is easier to file it with the electric file here than it is to do by hand. So that's why I like to use the E-file to clean up my lower arches, and really for anything else as well. Anything that I can do with the electric file is going to be easier for me than by doing it with my hand file, okay? So same thing on this side, we're going to pull down so that comes out nice and straight in line with that, that natural nail, okay? We're going to turn this nail on the side, and we're going to kind of look from kind of this angle right here. So I'm not quite at the side view yet, so just right at the top. So I want to be able to see it right up around my cuticle area. Now I'll kind of look from the side. What we're trying to do here is thin out and taper down that product so that we've got basically no ledge between our natural nail and our acrylic, okay? Once we have that, we're going to look from the side view here. So just like you guys are seeing, this is exactly what I'm seeing on this nail. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to work from the center down to, or basically down towards myself, okay? Just cutting in what we want for our arch. Now, I'm not trying to go all the way from side to side. At this point, I don't need to do that. And usually what can happen is if you have that bit and you start to notice that you can't see the bottom part of your bit, what's going to happen is it's going to get out of control and it's going to tend to wrap around that finger. Anybody have that happen? You guys let me know in the chat. Have you had that happen? I want to know. Or if you've seen that happen. Or you guys, if you're learning anything, make sure you hit the subscribe button today. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel so you can continue to get all of this great education, all of this free information. So again, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But again, I'm just coming right down the arch of the nail, just creating the proper structure. So now you can see a little bit more of that nice flowing shape. So again, nice and smooth, nice and thin down at our cuticle area, flowing right up to that arch, and then flowing down to that free edge. Looks like a couple of people have had this issue happen to them. Again, you guys, as you're working along that nail, you're only starting from the center and working out to the side. You're not trying to come all the way across this way, and you are looking at that nail from that side view when you're filing, okay? This way, you're actually going to be able to see what that arch should look like. Now, if you're filing from this view, okay, you guys, can you see what the arch looks like from this view? No, you can't, okay? You can't see anything of what that shape looks like. That's why, again, we file that arch from the side view. Now, we're going to turn that nail. We're going to look down the barrel. At this point, we've taken down the bulk from that center part, but we have thickness on our sides. So now all we're going to do, we're going to look from down the barrel, just like you're seeing here, and we're going to take down the bulk from those sides, kind of creating more of a rounded shape. Same thing on our right side, just kind of contouring this nail so it's nice and thin and tapered towards our free edge, and then right back up into that arch. Okay, so now you can kind of see I'm a little bit uneven on my lower arches here. That's okay, but the whole surface of my nail is coming into more of a smooth shape. Sorry guys. Okay, so I'm just kind of at this point flowing my bit all the way through that nail, making sure everything is as even as we can get it. And I am going to go through with my hand file. I'm actually going to go through with one more e-file bit here before I do my hand file. But I'm going to come back, check that arch one last time, make sure everything looks right. Okay. All right, so I think we're looking good here. I'm going to switch out back to that sanding band. So again, that first bit that we were using to prep the natural nail, I'm going to use this one to just refine at this point. Again, I'm still going to go back with my hand file, but like I said earlier, I want to try to do as much filing with my electric file as I can, so that way I don't have as much filing to do with my hand file. You guys, you see, let me actually come out a little bit farther out here. So as I'm working with the electric file, I'm doing a lot more just light motions like this. I'm not really using a whole lot of arm strength or shoulder strength or anything like that. If I'm using my hand file, I'm going to be doing a lot more work through here, a lot more work through here. That's going to put more strain on my wrists, on my hands, on my arms, all the way, my elbows, all the way back up into my shoulders. So like I said, the more you can do with your electric file, the better it's going to be and the easier it's going to be on your body. Okay? And those of you that are nail techs in salon right now, or if you're wanting to be a salon nail tech, saving your body and protecting your body is the most important thing. Because if you aren't doing that, you're not going to have a very long career. So you guys watch your ergonomics, watch how you work, watch how you're sitting, watch how your hand movements and everything. Make sure that you're keeping an eye on all of those things so that you can do nails for a long time. So again, just kind of going through all of those same motions that I was with my other bit, just to make sure that everything is refined. Okay, and with my sanding band, I was working at about 7,000 RPMs, so in case you were asking. Okay. Now, once we've got everything smoothed out as best as we can, we'll just come back in and refine with our hand file. Now, you're going to notice I'm not going to have a whole lot of filing to do by hand because I did the majority of it with my electric file. So I'm just kind of straightening out my sidewalls, cleaning up that shape a little bit. And I want to make sure this nail is back on here really good. All right, got that in there. So again, just cleaning up my shape. I'm going to turn that hand again on the side so I can see that lower arch. Straightening that out from the lower arch. Same thing on the other side. Turn the hand on the other side. And again, straighten out that lower arch. Make sure that's coming straight out from that natural nail. Okay. Once we've got that perimeter done, I'm going to hold my file. And let me come out just a little bit. Guys, I hold my file basically kind of between my pointer and my middle finger, kind of balance with my thumb on the top. And then I can work up and around that cuticle area. So up and around, up and around. And you guys, I'm using more of kind of a curved stroke. I'm not just filing flat. So kind of up and around, or down and around the sides, up and around, down and around, up and around, down and around. That's going to help to give you a really nice rounded edge. You're not going to have straight edges or corners on the nail. Okay. Same thing on the right side here, up and around, and then down and around. And now on my right side, I basically hold my file kind of right in between, kind of where the nails crease or the fingers crease. Grab onto that, support with the pointer, and support with the thumb. So we're kind of coming up and around and down and around. Okay. I'm going to come take a look at this nail from the side. I'm going to put a little bit of pressure with my file right at that free edge, and I'm going to file backwards and all the way through that free edge to just kind of thin and taper out that free edge and round that out. Okay, we're going to turn the nail from the client's perspective now, and this is how we're going to check our shaping. So we always want to check from how our client sees the nails so that we know everything is going to be straight from their view. So I can check my sidewalls, make sure those are even, straighten out that, yeah, I guess we did do more of a stiletto today. If you wanted a little bit more of an almond look, you could just take down a little bit more of that point, round it out just a little bit. And then we're going to look backwards down the barrel of the nail. So right through the edges, I'm just going to kind of flow my file all the way from one side all the way up and over to the other side. Just keeping that file in constant motion. This is how I'm going to get a really nice smooth finish rather than just kind of picking at that nail. Keeping that file in motion is going to keep it from putting little flat spots on the nail. Okay, and I do kind of look and kind of rock that nail up and down so that I can see all the way from here, sorry you guys, from all the way from that cuticle area, all the way through that point. If I just look from here, I can't really see what's happening all the way to that point. So that's why I always kind of rock that nail as I'm working to see all of the different views of that nail. Okay, I think we are good there. Everything is looking right. I'm going to turn my dust collector off. You guys, that'll give you a chance to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're learning something today, if you're enjoying our live stream, make sure to hit that subscribe button. All right, who's ready for some art? Because I know you guys love to see the sparkly things, the shiny things, the colorful things. Let me know in the chat if you want to see art. Give me a smiley face in the chat if you want some art. I see one last quick little thing here I want you guys to kind of take note of. Do you see how, let me come in really close. You see how we've got kind of that little loop right at the end there? What that's telling me is that's actually telling me that one of my lower arches isn't even. So I'm actually going to look at this nail straight down the barrel, and it looks like my right side is a little bit lower. So I'm just going to come in, straighten that out, making sure that those are both nice and even, making sure my lower arches are even together. Now, whoops, sorry guys. Now you don't see that little kind of loop at the end. So that's kind of just an easy little trick or a tip that's going to show you if your nail is properly shaped. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh, Chuck Whitaker. Okay, apparently you guys want to see some fun stuff. All right, I love it. So I'm going to just dust off our nail here, get all of that extra dust off of there. I'm going to come back to my swipe. And again, the swipe was that same product that we used to cleanse the natural nail to start with. So pump a little bit of that onto your manicure brush. Give that nail a really good cleanse. And whether you're just going to do a top coat, whether you're going to do a gel polish, or depending on what art you want to do, I am going to come back in with one more coat of my protein bond. Now again, you want to make sure that that nail is nice and dry, so wait until you don't see any shiny wet spots anymore, and then you can go ahead and apply one more coat of that protein bond. Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm seeing a lot of you subscribing, so thank you so much. We greatly appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. All right, so the design that we're going to be using, or that we're going to be doing today, is with our shading pens. And you guys, I'm going to tell you a little secret. These are on a huge blowout deal. So run over to our website when we're done here and check the Black Friday sale link, and you're going to get these at a huge discount. I believe the regular price is $29.95 and they're on sale for $10. So you can't go wrong with them. But you guys, I want to show you the colors of the art pens. So a couple of things when you're working with these, make sure you give them kind of a shake. And then open the caps carefully. Don't just yank the cap off of that. Make sure that you're opening those carefully. You guys can see I've got a little bit of the ink on my skin here. And what happened is I opened my cap too quickly and I had a little bit, kind of spray out a little bit on that. So make sure that you open those slowly. And so we've got all kinds of different colors here. We've got a really dark kind of a steel gray almost. And we've got blue, just a really pretty light blue. Let me come a little closer so you can see, just so you guys can see the colors and see what you can work with on these. We've got kind of a limey yellow green. I actually really like this one. And I think I might use those two today. And I'm going to use probably a little bit of this pink one too. This is a really fun bright pink. We've also got solid black. You guys, the black I really like for doing kind of marble looks. So super, super fun. We've got kind of a orangey, kind of a tangerine color. And we've got kind of a, it's definitely brown, but it's kind of a little bit more on kind of the greenish brown kind of a side. And then you guys, I'm going to show you this next one. This is the white, and it's not going to show up on the white tile that I've got here. So I actually have a black tile. So you can see that it is actually white. It does come out white. So this one is really fun for, you guys, if you saw my nails, it's not what I used on my nails, but you could get a similar look to this using the white shading pen. And then we've got, what do we got? We got yellow, and we've got kind of an oceany teal. That's a really pretty color. You guys know that my favorite colors are teal tones. And we've got red, and we've got a fun purple, kind of a fuchsia, I guess, more than purple. All right, you guys, what color do you like best? What's your favorite color in there? Let me know in the chat. I want to know what you guys like. But I think today I was kind of liking these three colors. So I think we're going to do a design using those. But I still want to know what you guys, which one is your favorite? So let me know in the chat. Blues, pinks, teals, purple one, purple, blue, and white, pink. You guys, I think we're all kind of thinking the same kind of color scheme here. I love that. I love it. All right, so we've got our nail filed. We didn't buffer anything like that. We don't need to, but we did put a coat of protein bond on. Now I'm gonna grab my brush, and you guys, I have an old art brush that's kind of frayed out, and it actually really helps if it's frayed out. So if you have an old art brush that you can't quite get back into shape, that's gonna be perfect for these designs. I'm also gonna grab my swipe, and I may use the onto the next polish remover. So you guys, our swipe is a combination of alcohol and acetone, and then our onto the next is an acetone based polish remover. So depending on what you want your design to look like, we may use one or the other. I'm actually going to probably show you both of those so you can kind of see what both of them will do. But let's come in there close. And I like to just open up my art pens here, or my shading pens, just so I have those ready to go. But notice how I just leave the cap on, okay? I want to leave the cap on so that that paint in there doesn't dry out as I'm working. So it just helps to kind of keep your pens lasting a little bit longer. So let's grab, and you guys, this is the fun part about working with the shading pens, is there's no rhyme or reason to it. You don't have to be perfect with them. You don't have to be very specific. I'm just gonna kind of scribble on and dab on some color. Again, I'm gonna slide that back into the cover and grab my second one. Just kind of wherever you want that color. And again, just scribble it on there. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, anything perfect. What's going to happen is these colors are actually going to blend together. So just kind of filling in space. Maybe we'll add, yeah, just a little bit more blue right in through there. Okay. So again, that's kind of the fun part of it. But then we're going to take that art brush that I had, and can I change out my towel? Do I need to? Is it dusty? All right, you guys. So we're going to take a little bit of that swipe, and I'm just going to pump a little bit of that up into the top cup. So you can kind of see there's a little bit up in there. Now, if I use the swipe, I'm going to come in nice and close so you can see. So I'm going to just kind of dab my brush into the swipe. So I'm picking up a little bit of that swipe on my brush. But just by dabbing that, it's just going to start to kind of bleed out that color, okay? Just kind of getting those to kind of blend together. Let me grab a table towel here. And I'm just going to use that little table towel to kind of clean out my brush as I go. I don't want too much of the paint to collect in my brush, because then it can start to muddy your colors, and you don't want to do that. So you can kind of see when I'm using the swipe, it just kind of bleeds it out just a little bit, kind of softens the edges of the colors, kind of helps to kind of start blending them together a little bit. But if I switch over to my onto the next polish remover, so that's what I've got here, I'll do the same thing. This one I tend to have a little bit that gets out of control. So this one I'm going to cover with my hand. There we go. Same thing, I'm going to dip my brush into that. Now you're going to notice that when I use the onto the next, because it's basically straight acetone for the most part. If we come in a little closer here, again using that onto the next, what that's going to do is that's going to kind of give a little bit more kind of an eraser effect. So it's going to kind of, again, still blending out that color, but it's going to start to kind of break it down a little bit. So they're going to blend together a little bit more rather than just kind of softening around the edges. So depending on what you want the nail to look like, what you want that design to look like, you can use either the swipe or you can use the onto the next with the acetone. Okay, so now again, you can kind of see that it's getting a little bit more marble kind of a look. And again, you can create space in between the colors, however you want that design to look. All right, I think I'm liking this just as it is. You know what, I think I may need just a little more color right up around that top area. Let's add in a little bit of that green, just so we kind of complete that color all the way around there. Get that right up in there, nice and close, nice and tight up in there. And then again, I'm going to use a little bit more of that onto the next, just to kind of blend that in. And again, you guys, using a brush like this that's got that frayed out bristle, you can see how that's really going to help to create that design. So just, if you got old brushes, you guys, don't throw them away. They come in handy for certain things. All right, I think I like how that's looking. Got a little something right on there. Okay. I don't know what that is. What is that little white speck? I don't know. We're going to leave that. I'm not even going to worry about that because we got more to add to this design. But here's the thing, you guys. If I wanted to add more color, but I like how this one is looking, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, you can really use kind of any top coat or base coat to seal, but I'm going to use our, spoiler alert, I'm going to use our new matte tack-free top coat, and I'm going to brush on a coat of this just to kind of seal what we've got here. Now, you guys, as you're working, make sure that you're kind of working quickly with this. If you start brushing over and over and over, it's going to start to kind of pull that color. So it's going to kind of make that color bleed. Now, I've got our hand into the light, so we're going to fully cure that. But you guys, the new matte tack-free top coat is amazing. You are going to love it because it's kind of that velvety kind of a matte. So it's going to go on. There's no tacky surface that you're going to have to wipe out or anything like that. So that's going to go in there for a full 60 seconds. And then I'm going to come back with my for all of this free education. But the matte or the black, I'm actually going to kind of drain out and make sure that I don't have too much paint in that bristle. Okay, so I don't want it quite a whole lot on there. I'm actually going to do more of just kind of lining, and I don't really want that to blend out just yet. So that's kind of why I just drain out a little bit of that extra paint. You guys heard the light beep, so that means that our nail is cured out. So again, I'm just going to kind of draw in just some thin little lines, kind of wherever I feel like it needs a little bit. So again, I'm going to go back to, let me put my cap back on. I'm going to go back to my onto the next, and using that brush, I'm just going to kind of bleed out one side of this. And this is going to help to almost bring it to, I think I took a little too much off of that. That's okay. Let's go ahead and add a little bit more on there. Maybe just a little bit more. There we go. But again, this is going to give it more of that stone kind of look. So just kind of bleeding out the edge of it. Bleeding out the edge. And again, you guys, apparently I can't talk and paint at the same time. But notice I'm just kind of staying on one side or the other of the black. I'm not coming in from both sides. By using just kind of coming in on one side, that's going to help to really kind of keep that a little bit of a solid line, but then kind of blending out and marbling out the other side of it. All right, I think I'm liking how that is looking. What do you guys think? Are we liking that? Let me see some sparkles or see some stars in the chat if you're liking how it's looking. Let me know. Let me know what you think. All right, I think I like that. And maybe just a little bit more right in through here. All right. Okay, I think that looks good. Now, let's go on to, actually before I go on, I'm gonna cap up all of my pens here because I am done. So make sure you get those caps on nice and tight. Hear that little click in there. And I want to make sure that this is dry. So I want to make sure that it's completely dry before I put my next coat on so that it doesn't smudge or anything like that. So we're going to go in with, I'm going to grab my manicure top coat. And we're going to polish this on. Don't worry, you guys, we're not at top coat yet. So calm down. Those of you that were wanting to do the top coat chant, I know you're getting antsy and you want to go all crazy. But I'm just going to seal this really quickly. Get that little fuzz off of there. And you guys, once you do that top coat, you can definitely see a little bit more of that marble look. I'm going to get this into the light. I'm going to do... we'll just put it in for the full 60 seconds. But I do want to show you guys the next products that we are using. And again, you guys, a spoiler alert, those of you that are excited about the mystery boxes, if you want to keep them a mystery, this is your spoiler alert. But we're going to be using some of the Sparkle and Shine nail jewels. And I've had a request to see all of the different jewels. So let me get these out here. So I'm going to just quickly kind of go through all of the different jewels so that you guys can see what they all look like. So those of you that were wanting to see, I'm not sure why it's looking like kind of those lines on here. You guys, just give me just one quick second. Let me rearrange my lights here really quick. Move some things. Okay, there we go. All right, let me put down a nice clean table towel. There we go. So now you guys, I can show you all of the different jewels that are in that kit. So I'm going to show you each one of them. And each of the stones comes with 5 jewels in each little container. So again, all of those beautiful colors. And then we're going to choose which one we want to do on our nail here. All right. So again, you guys, we have all different shapes, all different sizes. We've got some silver backings. We have some gold backings. So this will just kind of give you just a quick idea of all of the different colors and all of the different jewels that we've got in this collection. So again, 5 in each little container. These are reusable. So if you do get acetone or anything on them, it won't damage them. It won't affect the finish of them. They are completely reusable. So if you want to use your nipper to kind of nip them to remove them, or if you soak them off, you can do that as well. But they are, somebody says they're good quality. Yes, they are excellent quality. And the stones, you guys, I know they look pretty good on camera, but the color in person is absolutely gorgeous. They are so bright. They're so beautiful. Even just like this one, kind of those clear colors, they're absolutely beautiful. The color in them, again, camera doesn't do them quite justice, but they're absolutely beautiful. And I'm not sure which ones I'm going to use on the nails today. You guys may have to help me. Let me know if you see one that you really like. And then maybe, actually, you know what? I think I kind of am liking these. These are really a pretty multicolor. You can see it's got a little bit of that blue tone, that fuchsia, a little of that emerald in there. Absolutely gorgeous. I think I'm going to leave that one off to the side. That one might be the one that I'm going to use. Somebody's asking, where do you buy them? Guys, these are in the gel mystery box, youngnails.com. We've got our big, huge Black Friday sale going on right now. So these, right now, the only place you can get them is in that gel mystery box. So make sure that if you want these, you grab them. The mystery boxes, you guys, I think they will probably sell out before the end of the sale. So I wouldn't wait too long to get them. So if you are wanting those, grab them now while you can. And again, we've got silvers, we've got golds, so whatever kind of color tones your clients like or whatever you like. Beautiful. I love these ones because, again, they're just kind of a soft, kind of a delicate kind of a look. And then some are a little bit more bold. And you guys, look at how many you get in this. I mean, I'm only halfway through on all of these. So there's a ton of jewels in this kit. So all together in one collection. And you guys, these are going to be super fun for Valentine's Day. I know I got to think ahead because, you know, clients are already going to start, they're already starting to do the holidays, the Christmas nails and everything. So you got to think ahead. Got to think ahead. These are going to be good for Valentine's Day too. Those reds, those ruby tones, even beautiful on those. Ooh, crystal mixed metals. Yes, yes, yes. You can definitely combine these all together. Absolutely. Lizzie said those ones. I don't know which ones those ones were. Which one did you like, Lizzie? Again, the ruby colors, the ruby jewels here. And again, you guys, they really are great quality. And I'll tell you, I've used a lot of stones and gems and things like that over my years of doing nails, and I really am very impressed with these. I really think that they are great quality. Like I said, you can't, you know, acetone doesn't do anything to them. It doesn't dissolve them. The stones are glass, so they're not going to dissolve in acetone or anything like that. And this blue, oh my gosh, you guys, look at this blue. I was saying earlier, we were on our Twitch live stream earlier today, and these remind me of the stone, the necklace from the movie Titanic, because I think it's that deep ocean blue. I think they're absolutely beautiful. I think that actually might be my favorite color in the collection here. Well, no, I have one other favorite. I don't know, you guys, they're all my favorites. But again, kind of that softer, this actually looks kind of that antique-y kind of a look. So I think these are really pretty, really, really pretty. And a few more here. And again, that heart shape. Again, that, what is that? The heart of the ocean. I think that's what I'm going for with these, heart of the ocean. And there's actually quite a few of them in the heart shapes, but just different jewels in the center. I think a lot of people, again, especially coming up to Valentine's Day, people are going to want those hearts. I think they're going to love them. Oh, somebody says I just received my acrylic mystery box. Woohoo! All right, you guys, here's my next favorite one. So I think this is probably, yeah, probably my favorite, just because of the colors in there. Because this is such a multicolor, it's got that fuchsia, that blue, that emerald. Oh, I absolutely love this one. And you guys, this one, I'm telling you, camera doesn't do this near justice on this one. So this one, I'm loving this one. Absolutely love that one. Maybe I'll set that one aside too. We'll see what we decide to work with. All right, and then this one, I don't know if I don't really think this is a heart shape, but I think this is just going to be kind of, I don't know, kind of a collar. So kind of like for right up around those cuticle areas. I think, all right, sorry guys, I can't get that on my nail right now, but I think those are just a really different kind of a shape. Really pretty on those. And let's see, what else we got? Okay, so this is for those people that want a diamond You can have a diamond on your nail. You guys, that is the bling right there. That is the absolute diamond bling. All right, is it a real diamond? No, but that's got some shine to it. All right. Somebody's asking, can I buy the pens in a set? The shading pens? Yes, those do come as a set if that's what you were asking about. Yes. And then again, that emerald green, kind of a teardrop shape. Absolutely beautiful on those. Price of mystery box. Somebody's asking, you guys, the mystery boxes are $110 each, and they are well worth the price of the product, you guys. I can't remember what the full price is on them exactly. Moderators, if you remember, maybe you can pop that in the chat. But the mystery boxes are $110 for everything in the kit. Again, kind of that multicolor, beautiful facet down into that stone. I really like these two, you guys. These are super pretty. Oh, it's so hard to choose. It's so hard to choose which is my favorite. Okay, two more. This last one, kind of that rectangular shape. I don't know exactly what a jeweler would call that shape. I can't remember what the official term is, but again, kind of that antique kind of a look to that setting. And then the last but not least, we've got the larger gold. Yes, there we go. Sorry, guys. All right, so that gold. And this is gonna, you see kind of some other colors reflecting in there. That's not actually the color of the stone. That's actually, I've got our pink Young Nails hat on right now, and it's reflecting the pink from my hat. So these are a clear stone, not that pink that you're seeing reflecting. Okay, so those are all of the different stones that we've got in our jewel collection here. So how do we adhere these is the question. That is a great question. We are going to use our tip and jewel adhesive that also, spoiler alert, comes in the gel mystery box. So let's grab our nail that we've got done. What do you guys think? Which one should we use? Let me, you guys answer in the chat. Do we want the, let's see. Do we want the long stones or do we want the smaller stones? You let me know in the chat. Long stones or small stones? Let me know. Let me know what you think. I think I know which one I want to use, but you guys let me know. And somebody says, I got to see it on. You guys, that's exactly how I am too. So let's just grab, I got my little tweezers here. Let's see what these are going to look like. Oh, you guys, I think I made my decision. But let's see what the other ones look like. Yeah, I think this one's too much. I think it's too busy for this nail. But you know what? Let's just to see. I'm going to grab this one here just to see what we think. No, I think too busy. I think too busy on that. So I think I am liking that little bit of a smaller one. And I think that's actually going to fit just right down into kind of our design that we've got. So how I'm going to adhere these, let me close these things up so I don't spill, you guys. Y'all know how I spill things. All right, so when you're using the new tip and jewel adhesive gel, you guys, this is a really, really thick gel. So you can see it's not moving. It's not like it's not going to really flow, okay? I'm going to grab my dual-ended brush and spatula. So it's got the brush on one end and then the little spatula on the other. I really like to use the spatula when I'm working with the jewel adhesive. I feel like it's nice and easy. So I'm going to come in a little closer. I'm going to take just a little, kind of a scoop of that adhesive, kind of tap off that little bit of string there. And you can either put this onto the back of your jewel, or I like to just kind of set it right down onto the nail right where I'm going to be adhering. So just kind of get that off of the spatula. And I'm going to pick up that stone and I'm going to just set that right down onto the nail. And you guys, I'm going to just set that there. Let me come in a little closer. But do you see how as I set it down, it's not moving. It's not running anywhere. It's not going anywhere except where I put it. So that is going to really just stay. Because a lot of times, you guys, in past, when I've used, top coats and other things to try to secure my stones, they tend to run and they move and they slide all over the place. With this, it's a super thick gel, so it's not gonna move anywhere, okay? So you've got all the time in the world to work with this. I'm just gonna clean off that little bit of extra gel from my brush or from my spatula, and I actually just will come through, kind of clean off a little bit of that extra that may have squeezed out. Now, you guys, you do want a little bit of that to squeeze out, so it really kind of seals around the edge of the base of that stone. So this way your client isn't going to catch her hair underneath there or anything like that. It's really going to give you can kind of see from underneath. It's sealed all the way around so that there's no gap underneath to catch on, okay? Let's go ahead and I just want to make sure that's nice and centered right there. You guys, you could either put this into the full UV LED light, or I'm actually going to grab our touch cure light. Let me grab that here real quick. And this is a really quick and easy tool to use. So it's got the timer on there. Notice the light will come on at the end. And I like to just kind of work this around the edges of that stone. So this way the light really gets underneath there. I can kind of see I'm getting all the way up underneath there, all the way around, just to kind of set that into place. Now, this is not going to fully cure it. I'm not going to sit here and hold this for a whole minute to fully cure that, but I'll just touch the end of that, turn that off. At this point, I'm going to go through and finish the nail. So now, you guys, those of you that know our top coat chant, we can go ahead and do our top coat chant, because I'm going to work with our ultimate finish top coat. I am going to grab my little ceramic tile here because I'm going to need that in just a second. But I'm going to go through and I'm going to put a little bit of that top coat right onto my mixing tile. So yes, those of you that know our top coat chant, go ahead and start our top coat chant in the chat. If you're new to our channel, again, make sure you hit that subscribe button before you do our top coat chant, and then you can just chant in the chat, top coat, top coat, top coat. So I put a little bit of that ultimate finish on my mixing tile, and I've got my striper. Actually, this is our liner brush. So just kind of a small little brush. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that top coat, and I'm going to bring that right up around, again, right around the base of that stone to get that top coat sealed all the way around the edges here. You guys, you want to make sure that you're not getting top coat up on the surface of your stones, because if you do, it's going to kind of take away some of that shine. So make sure that you're just staying on the surface of the nail, kind of right around the base of that stone. Just kind of taking that liner brush all the way up, all the way around the edges here. Okay, so now we've got that sealed all the way around the edge. Now I can just go through, top coat the whole rest of the nail, and then we'll cure this. Now you guys, when you're working kind of up around this area, kind of up around that cuticle area, with the top coat brush, it may be a little bit tricky to kind of work around that stone. You can always come back with that liner brush and use that to apply your top coat all the way around that cuticle area. I'm gonna add just a little bit more to my tile here. Again, just to kind of make sure that you've got that whole nail top coated, you don't have any empty spots or any spots that are missing top coat. You can get that all the way around. Okay, we're gonna get this in there into the light for a full 60-second cure, and then we will show you the finished look. Somebody says, I'm sorry, Karen, but I don't agree with you in the jewel you picked. Which one would you have picked? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. What color do you think would have gone better with this? And you guys, it's so hard to decide, because sometimes, you think you like one color and then you actually put it onto the nail and it looks totally different than what you kind of thought. So that is something to note with the different jewels, is they will kind of reflect a different color, some of these more multicolor ones. If you're working with like those really good solid colors, kind of like the the pink one here, or the green, the emerald, those you'll definitely see that color, but some of the other colors will reflect differently depending on what color you put it on top of. So that, you know what, if you disagree with my color choice, that is completely fine. I 100% respect that. And I would just say, try this design out and tag us and show me what you did. Show me which one you chose. I would love to see. So all right, so there is our final look. Again, you guys, you can get these jewels in the gel mystery box. I'll turn that around so you can kind of see from a different view here. But yes, it's in the gel mystery box, so you can check those out on the Young Nails website, youngnails.com. Again, the stripe or the shading pens, you guys, the shading pens that I used, those are in a bundle, or not a bundle, a blowout deal for $10. You guys, do you want to hear a couple more deals, or are you heading over to the website? Let me know. A couple more deals? I'll tell you a couple more deals. All right, I'll tell you a couple more deals. So a few other things that we've got blowout deals on. You guys, we've got a blowout deal on our chrome powders, the earth tone chrome powders. The chromes, I believe, are $4. And moderators, please correct me if I'm wrong. And you guys, please don't quote me on these prices, but I'm pretty sure that this is what they are. Again, $4 on those. Those of you that have seen a lot of my demos before, you guys know that I absolutely love the jewel foil kit. This one is on sale for $5. You guys, unreal pricing here, okay? So all of these different colors of foil, $5 for the whole box. We've also got our pixie crystals, the whole box, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors in there. Those are, pixie crystals are $10 for the whole box here. And then we've also got, you guys, this is a ridiculous deal. This is our fruit cocktail charm kit. All of these different little fruit cocktail pieces. You guys, I've done a couple of different demos using these, so check those out on our YouTube channel here as well. This kit is also $10. So you guys, unreal blowout deals. Get them while you can. These blowout deals will not last very long. There are limited quantities on them. So on prices like this, I mean, you can't go wrong. All right, you guys, I got one more blowout deal that I'm going to share with you, and this is absolutely ridiculous to me. Habib just mentioned this morning on our Twitch stream, this is our Mylar ribbon. We have, I believe we've got 4 different colors of this. And you guys, guess how much this is? I want you let me know in the chat. How much do you think this is? For this whole box, let me show you what's all in here. It is Mylar ribbon, and you can cut these up into whatever shapes and sizes you want and place those onto the nail. Again, we've got some designs on that on our YouTube channel here. You guys, a lot of you are saying $1. I know you guys that are saying $1. You were on our Twitch stream today. Yes, you guys, this whole box of Mylar ribbon is $1. So a deal like this, you guys can't pass up. $1, literally $1, $1, $1 for this box of Mylar ribbon. We've got, I believe, 4 different colors of this. So you guys, if you haven't already, jump over to the website, youngnails.com, get all of these great deals, get the deal on the mystery box with all of these different gorgeous jewels. Just you guys head over to the website and check all of these awesome deals out. So you guys, thank you for joining us. Again, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, join our community here, be a part of our fun group, and we will see you back, I believe, again tomorrow. Let's see, some moderators, Karen, can you do how to remove the stones? Oh, you guys want me to remove the stone? All right, I'll remove the stone. So you guys, they really hold on like extremely well. I've had these on my own nails for up to 2 weeks, and you guys, I am a picker and I still haven't been able to pick them off, but you can come in with your nippers. Oh, poor little stone, we just put that on there. But you can come in with your nippers and kind of get right underneath them. And you guys, I would say have a separate nippers that you use just for removing stones and things like that. Don't use the same one that you would use on a client on her cuticles, but you can just kind of come right underneath there, kind of clipping right down into it, and that'll actually break the seal. And then you can remove that stone and you can use it again. Okay, so quick and easy way of removing the stones. The rest of that gel that's on there, you would just file off using your electric file or something like that, okay? So whoever that was saying I should use a different color, maybe I'll put a different color on this one instead. All right, you guys, thank you all so much for joining us today. Jump over to the website, see all of the shiny things, and get those great deals while they are still available. Subscribe to our channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and we will see you guys back next time. Thank you for joining us. See you guys later.